myself, Kamlesh, and I'm the academic coordinator and co-founder of the Nanak Mata Public School. And for the last 10 years, I'm also working as a social science teacher within the school systems. And with the like-minded people and organizations, we are trying to create a space in the rural India that is holistic and joyful for our students. For the last 8 years, we are working together. And my personal associations, I think it's 6 years ago when as a teacher of the social science, I intervened in her class. But for the last 4 years, I have closely associated with her community-based project. So instead of a teacher, I would call her as a teammate as well as the student leaders. So she is helping us as well as in our organizations to our visions to achieve the holistic and the joyful learning space. And the way she inspires her colleagues, her mentors as well as the teachers, that make me to think she as a leader. But the leadership definitions has its own problem, I think. But in case of the Riya, I found instead of putting herself into the front, I found she's always there in different learning modules, as well as the way she's inspiring other people which are closely associated with her, either maybe their classmate or other schools also. So these capacities or these capabilities, I think, somehow forced me to think that, and we call Riya and some of his friends as a student leader. Community library project, as the name suggests, that is the part of the collaboration between the student, teacher, mentors and different stakeholders, and the most importantly the community that allow us to operate in their space. My role, I think, as a facilitator, to provide these spaces, connected Riya and her friends to different organizations and give them the best of the example, best of the learning example worldwide taken place. So I'm a little bit of the privilege and I have some connections. So only I think I found my role as a facilitator, but in some cases I'm very critical to the work of my students. So my feedback as well as the reflections, I think that is also somehow play a role in this entire journey. Riya's entire journey as a educator is is very reflective for me. I think we can learn how we can take the challenges and the ownership of our work. That is the one thing that always inspired me. And for other educators also, we can learn from our student also. They have unlimited capacities and ideas. To listening our student will solve most of the challenging problem we are facing in our education system. So I think educators can learn these things. The powerful communications he has, communication not only in terms of putting his argument, but also listening someone and the problem solving approach. I think that is the something which I love if a student can learn from her journey. I have seen in the last 4 years the articulations she has, the ways she communicate with in and outside the school spaces, and her writing become more powerful. When I say the powerful, there is a powerful instances of community. And in this journey, I have seen another things. She is capable enough to manage the different spaces, either in the school spaces, spaces at their home and the community. So I found herself is a much more composed and as well as a leader in a true sense. Somehow we have moved to create sensitivity within the community about the reading culture. That's the one things. And other students of the schools got inspired through this journey, and they have taken the similar initiative in their villages. So I think it's a long journey. Initially, me and my team had started engaging in the classroom as well as in the school, as normally happen in the traditional school systems. And then we found there's a lot of problems, and even the learning was not up to mark as we was expecting. Then our pursuit to deal with these challenges, we meet different organizations through the different literatures, and then we realize that if we create a space where if we can listen the student instead of putting our aspirations to them. So we have taken this as a we have taken these practices into the classroom, and then we found some amazing result, and that led us to think, can we create such a space where a student can when the students can take the ownership of their work instead of as a learner or a passive learner, can they take part actively into the learning process, and particularly in the decision making and the important decision of the schools or the decisions that directly impact on their life. So when we have seen there is a tremendous ownership was emerging from the students, learning was very powerful, and the school space become something like a learning space. So that inspired us to move for the another avenues. And at the time of the COVID, this avenues, this community library, when the school was closed, I think that avenue was a opportunities at the time of the crisis and the biggest crisis of our generations. So that's the journey about how we seriously taking about the student role into the classroom. We have the student advisory committee that advises us into the different perspective, and the lot of things which is taken place in the school entirely designed by the student, either their Republic Day, either some festivals in the schools, as well as if some guest is coming to the school, so entire program is organized by the student. So that is the one thing where they found ownership. And there are some other module like the community library. There is one module that called the Diwar magazine or the school newspaper, making the films where students take these roles, and not they are only doing themselves but also taking their junior with them. So there is a very powerful learning coming through this process. Education is not different from the society, as we are living in the society that is very unequitable, unjust. So that is also reflected in our education systems. And no doubt the way our classroom has designed the relationship between the teacher and the student, everything has been I think take inspirations from the society in a negative way. So the challenges of education is largely challenges of the society. So I found our classroom was very teacher centric, and classroom doesn't have the very classroom as well as the school space is not a democratic one. Education must be contextualized first. Second, that should be the student centered. Third, students are allowed to take calculated risk and challenging challenges, so they can motivate it to the self-driven learning. As educators, this is our responsibility to create that kind of spaces where students will not afraid to take decisions and not afraid to take doing mistakes. So that is our role, and if we create such a space and we believe in the student, I think the student have potential and they know the intentions of teacher as well as the school space, what their intention is. So I think they are wise, and they are very rational. They are rational enough to take the better decisions, which would be great for both school as well as their life.